Xenoblade Chronicles Remaster is finally here, and oh man, what a treat it is. We're currently doing a full story playthrough on the Twitch channel, link up on the screen and down below, so come through if you want to check that out before buying. Otherwise, let's get into the list of things that have been remastered. The first big thing obviously that everybody is going to notice is the graphical update. All of the main characters' heads and hairstyles have been completely remade in higher def. Those of you with sharp eyes will notice that all the characters now have individual fingers. Wow. The environment textures have probably doubled in resolution, which gives them a little bit of a sharper feel than the original. They've also included a really subtle use of normal maps, which helps to define certain surfaces like metal, which have reflective properties. The lighting also has received a little boost. There is simulated light shafts and baked volumetric lighting. There's even a little bit of motion blur, which is visible in cutscenes and when you rotate the camera really quickly. Interestingly enough, when docked, the game only maxes out at 720p. So if you did want to play this game on a big telly, just know that there's a dynamic resolution that will deliver anywhere between 504p and 720p. And what this really means for the average person is if you're running a 4K TV, the 720p resolution when scaled up is going to look pretty blurry. The other big change is a newly arranged soundtrack. Now, not every track has been re-recorded, but most of them have, and they sound amazing.
Shulk!
Fiora!
And there is an option to switch between the remastered and original soundtracks. Perhaps one of the biggest updates to this remaster that I've personally noticed has been in the UI. So many quality of life updates here. Combat arts now have markers that show when the player is in the right position for them, so when you're dropping a backslash, you'll know if you're standing in the right spot when you're using it. Dude! Side quests now have markers that will lead you to the required area or items that you need to pick up, and the equipping and unequipping of gems has been made so much simpler. In fact, I think from memory, the number of clicks to get anywhere in the UI has been reduced significantly. There is also now a fashion layer of equipment, which means no more hodgepodge characters showing up in the cutscenes looking absolutely ridiculous. They've also added a casual mode, which drops difficulty down if you're struggling with enemies. It's quite interesting. There's a little message that pops up in the game after you've died a couple of times to one battle or a boss fight, and it reminds you, hey, there's a little casual mode if you're struggling, but we don't need that. Alternatively, there is also an expert mode, which basically allows players to stockpile XP and then freely choose what level you want your characters to be at. This helps make the game more difficult, and incidentally, it's the same system that they used in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They've also added an event theater, which allows players to rewatch cutscenes, and it's accessible at the main menu. Really cool if you wanted to do just an entire story catch-up. Another thing they've added is this little glowing orange crystally portal thing. It basically is a teleport device that takes you to the Nopon Archsage, who has a bunch of time attack battles for you to complete in exchange for some costume rewards. It's pretty sweet. Now, one more thing before we get to the big update. Anybody with a save data for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 will also get 100,000 gold upon starting a new game. It sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's by no means game breaking, but it is a nice little boost to kick off your journey. Now, last but not least, there is an entirely new prologue that's included with the Definitive Edition. It's about 15 to 20 hours of brand new content. Funnily enough, it takes place on the Bionis shoulder, and it's an unused map that was cut from the original game. The epilogue takes place about a year after the events of the main game, and it follows Melia and Shulk as they track down the Imperial city of Alchemoth. Now, as far as I know, because I haven't actually played that content yet, everything is the same, the gameplay is the same, but there is apparently a new special attack system. Looking forward to seeing what that's all about. One last thing before we wrap up, and I think it does deserve mentioning, is how minimal the load times are when you're traveling between markers that you've already explored and unlocked on a given area map. I mean, it's basically fast travel with no load times at all. That is awesome. Unfortunately, there is one single gripe I have with this remaster, and that's the price. It is a full $99 here in New Zealand. That's a $60 US game. Now don't get me wrong, it is a fantastic RPG, and if you own the original, this is going to bring back a ton of nostalgia, and you'll undoubtedly enjoy the quality of life updates and everything else they've jammed into this remaster, but it is a remaster. It's not a remake. However, as it stands right now, you're basically paying full price, i.e. remake price. This is the same price as a brand new game. And ultimately, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. So despite this being an amazing RPG, I would wait for a sale, I'd wait for the price to come down, then grab it. Again, if anybody's wanting to see how the game plays, what it looks like, feel free to come through to the Twitch channel. We'll be playing it probably for another week or so. I'm guessing it's going to take to get through the story. Come through, say hello. It's been great to see a whole bunch of new people coming through from the YouTube channel. Otherwise, catch you guys on the next one.